Well, good morning and hello and welcome to the Almost Daily Blog. Jay here, and we are now officially in the Christmas season. It is the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. We've done the whole Thanksgiving thing, had the turkey, had the stuffing, and it's now Christmas. So, Merry Almost Christmas. And that's going to be my whole thing for the next couple weeks here, because we're moving into one of my favorite times of the year. And if you know us, if you've been following us for any length of time, you'll know that, Christmas, we just go all in with Christmas. But before we do all of that, just want to do a quick catch up, because Thanksgiving did just happen this weekend. And it was a good Thanksgiving. So I don't want to jump over the whole Thanksgiving thing and jump right into Christmas and not really take time to think about and acknowledge the things that we are grateful for and the one who has provided those things for us to be grateful. And so let's just pause for a second here before we jump both feet into Christmas, and let's talk about Thanksgiving. Now, you've been following the blog. We posted a couple things about thankfulness, and one of the things that we talked about is, how do you say thanks in the midst of a tough year? We posted it a couple weeks ago on the blog. Seemed to spark some interest because it got a fair amount of traffic. If you want to go and read that blog article, I'll put a link in the description below, and you can go and read that. But for many of you who have been, following along with us, it's been a tough year in the Higham house. Between Amy's breast cancer, the loss of both of our fathers within a month's time, the family dog passing, and just a lot of stuff. It's been a year, and one of the things that I was focusing on, or kind of moving through, is in the midst of all of that, and still carrying around some of the grief and the realities of the past couple of months. Is it okay to be grateful? Can we still be grateful in the midst of a tough year? And my heart was drawn to the scriptures, particularly the ones that say, be joyful, pray, and give thanks. And it really kind of brought me back to the place of saying, okay, this year has been tough, but if we're to live our lives in a way that we are joyful, rejoicing in the things that God has given us, if we are called to be praying in a way that it never ceases, that we're constantly in a place, not that we're on our knees with our faces to the ground or our eyes are closed or whatever, but that we are moving through prayerfulness in our lives, and if we are to give thanks in all circumstances, what does that really look like for us? And as I looked at that scripture and just kind of started going through, taking account of the year, it became very clear that it wasn't just this year that we have much to be thankful for. It's our lives. Like, we don't judge our relationship with God with one event. Like, we don't say, we're going to love God if God does this. Like, that's not how we live. It's not how we operate. But instead, we realize that whether it's been good or bad, easy or tough, a struggle or frustration, or we've just seen blessing upon blessing, God is at the heart of all of it. And He has been at the heart of all of it. And He continues to be at the heart of all of it. In the article, we kind of remind or reiterate that when we first heard the diagnosis of cancer, we determined from that very day that we were going to trust God, no matter what. Whatever the future held. Because at that point, we didn't know exactly to what extent Amy's cancer was. We still had to get, pathology reports and, MRIs and things like that. So we weren't sure. We just knew that she had cancer. But we determined at that point we were going to trust God. And that really has been our mantra for the year. And that was back in January. And we have just said, whatever the situation, whatever the circumstances, we are going to trust that God is at work and He's doing something, and it's for His good and for His purpose. And that whatever it was, we were going to give Him glory and praise through it all. And we have tried to do that, and it's not been easy. There have been times when we have just been beside ourselves, and we were asking, what is going on? Why are these things happening? But even in those moments, we were quickly brought back to the place of gratefulness, the awareness that God was still in control. And quite frankly, I couldn't imagine going through this year without knowing that we had a loving God who was very much aware of our circumstances, who was very much aware of what our needs were, and who was orchestrating and operating in the midst of all of it, through us, through the people who were loving on us, through the doctors, through the funeral home directors. I mean, you want a neat ministry. Being a funeral home director has got to be a crazy ministry. I mean, you're dealing with people in some of their darkest days, and you're speaking hope and kindness and gentleness into their lives. Anyhow, we just saw God moving through all of those things. And so the whole idea is, how do we give thanks? Well, we give thanks because we're not judging God on one thing. We're looking at His faithfulness throughout our lives. And so as we gathered together for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, my whole family, minus my two oldest boys, we were able to go to Philadelphia and spend this Thanksgiving with my mom. And it was weird in the sense that there was this elephant in the room, so to speak. So it felt like tensions were a little higher. It felt like there were certain things you just didn't want to talk about or bring up. And so it was kind of weird. But at the same time, there was this sense of togetherness. There was this feeling of family. And I know we all drive each other crazy at times as a family, especially when we get all the siblings together and all the cousins. It's a bit much. It can be overwhelming. But at the same time, there was a certain feeling of it's okay. And I was quiet most of the holiday break because I was just taking it in, two, dealing with my own emotions through the whole time. But at the same time, I was reflecting on what God has been doing in our lives. And I wasn't going to let any of the drama or the things that potentially happen when family gets together, I wasn't going to let any of that kind of bother me. And then, fortunately, it was a good holiday. Everyone got along. We loved each other. We laughed with each other. We played games. We enjoyed Thanksgiving dinner. We went down to the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade. We just did all those things. And there was just this sense of healing, and things just felt like God was still moving in all of that. And even in that, we could be grateful. So here we are. A couple days later, we're home. We went to church yesterday, so we were back to work. I'm actually in the car, as usual, heading off to meet with one of my staff persons who works in student ministry with me. And, we're going to be gearing up for our Christmas celebration with our students. Amy and I are gearing up for Christmas at home. It's Advent. We're going to be stepping into celebrating the Advent season. And we're looking forward to what these couple of weeks bring to us as we prepare for Christmas. And I want to talk about Advent But I think I'm going to do that next time, because this one was all about just recognizing the good things that God is doing and saying yes. In the midst of dark days, tough times, there is space for us to be grateful. And it may not come right away. It may come after that time. Because I think it's when you step out of that darkness that you realize that you weren't alone in that darkness. And I think that's when the gratefulness kind of comes in. So I want to encourage you, wherever you find yourself today, whatever your year has looked like, whatever you have been dealing with, I know it may feel like you're in that space by yourself, and it may feel like you're just, up against the wall, and, at you're not sure what to do next, you're not sure if you can handle what comes next. But I want to encourage you, there is a God who knows you, who loves you, who wants a relationship with you, and even now, He is with you in those moments. And if you lean on Him or reach out to Him, He's going to provide you with the strength and the courage and the wherewithal to endure what you're enduring, but not just endure it, but to come up out of it. And in that time, I think that's when you'll see God at work in your life. So, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If not, I hope that God will move in your life over these next couple weeks and connect with you in a way that brings you to a place where you're able to celebrate what this current season is all about. So, let me wrap up, because this is going a little bit longer than I think I wanted it to. But thank you so much for listening. And again, I hope I've encouraged you. That was my hope, was to give you something to look forward to and something to lean into. So know that God loves you. Know that He knows you. And He desires a relationship with you. And if that's something that you want to pursue, then I would say leave a comment in below, or connect with a pastor in your community or at a local church. If you are in a spot where you're not sure where a good church is, reach out. Put something down in the comments, and depending on where you are, we might know somebody who would be a great place for you to go and get to know God a little bit. So all that said, thanks for watching. Happy belated Thanksgiving. And next time we get together, we're going to talk about Advent, and hopefully get excited as we look forward to and prepare for Christmas and the coming of Jesus Christ. It's going to be great. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here on the Almost Daily Vlog. We're out.